afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Herrenbrook Farm Kitchen. Fantastic, as always, to have you here. And today, we're going to make beef ragu, or as it's called in the UK, bolognese sauce. Okay, let's talk about the ingredients for this incredible beef ragu that we're going to make. So, of course, you're going to need some beef. We've got 500 grams of grass-fed British beef minced, ready to go. Then we've got the vegetables. I've got 3 onions. If you've got larger onions, obviously you can cut that down. I've got some celery and a couple of good-sized carrots. Then we've got 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. I've got some bovril to give it a beefy boost and a beef stock cube. Some Dijon mustard, just to give it a little kick. We have got some tomato puree, and finally some Liam Perrin sauce. And then in terms of condiments, I'm going to be putting salt and pepper in, and probably a little bit of oregano as well. Okay, so let's get going with the veg prep. What I'm basically going to make as the base for this ragu is what's called a sofrito. And that is finely diced onions, celery, and carrots. I'm not going to keep talking, it will be a very long and boring process. I'm going to jump in and prep all of these and get them into the pan ready to make the sofrito. Okay, so there we go, all chopped up, beautiful, ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is bring the hob over and we're just going to put these over a low heat and just allow them to sweat down and soften. Okay, so straight on the stove, we'll turn that up to a sort of medium heat and I'm going to go in with some rapeseed oil just to give it something to fry in. And then just give that a mix round. And basically I'm going to let this cook nice and slowly on here for about 10 minutes, just until everything is soft. I don't want to burn it, I don't want to caramelise it, I just want it blipping away gently, nice and soft on there. And in fact I'm going to cover it with a lid. Okay, so we're about 4 or 5 minutes in. It looks and smells absolutely amazing. Controversially, no garlic in here. I don't use garlic when I'm making a beef ragu. I know that's probably heresy for many people listening, but I just don't, and I never have. This base, the sofrito, the classic Italian sofrito, is the base for so many things we make here at Herrenbrook Farm. Soups, all sorts of things start with carrot, onion and celery, and it just is the most incredible depth of flavour that you can build into any stew or casserole or anything that you're going to make. And the other thing we don't put in at this stage is any seasoning. If you put salt in at this stage, it'll make the onions go tough, and I like to put the pepper in when I put the meat in later. So I leave most of the seasoning until right towards the very end, and that way you can control it a lot better. So what we're going to do, put the lid back on. I'm going to leave that for another 5 or 6 minutes to completely cook down and soften, and then we'll come back to you and get on with the next stage. Okay, that's had 10 minutes now. It's beautiful and soft and got a bit of colour to it, looks absolutely amazing. So I'm going to take this off the heat now. I'm going to set it to one side and we'll get on with doing the meat. Okay, so with the sofrito more or less done, we'll move on to doing the beef. So I've got the frying pan on, again, a sort of medium heat. I'm going to go in with a bit of oil into the pan. We'll let that warm up. And here's the beef. Try that again. Okay, straight into the pan with the beef. Okay, we want to cook this quite high now. So the idea of this is before we put the beef into the pan with the sofrito, is we just want to brown it off and caramelize it. And what that's going to do is add incredible layers of flavour to the ragu. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in there with some tomato puree, which will improve that depth of flavour, and also some oregano. I don't know, about a tablespoon of oregano, and some black pepper, which I'm just going to grind straight in. That smells incredible. Okay, we're just going to let that cook for 5 minutes or so until it's slightly crispy on the outside, caramelised and absolutely delicious. That smells amazing and it looks incredible. So whilst that's cooking, I'm going to prepare the stock. We need 500 ml of stock. So I'm going in with an oxo cube, a beef stock cube, in there. And then to boost the flavour, just turn that down a fraction, I'm going to put in maybe half a tablespoon of bovril or beef extract. And I'm going to fill this up to 500 ml with water, boiling water, to make the stock. Okay, fill that up with boiling water and we'll just give it a stir to mix it all in. Turn that back up again. As you can see, that's looking beautiful, dark and crispy. So I'll get that turned out in a moment. Okay, that is done. So we'll tip that into the casserole dish with everything else. And we don't need to get every single bit out because that's going back on the heat. And we are going to deglaze this pan with a bit of wine. You can use red wine or white wine, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a huge difference. Good glug of that. And just work that round the base of the pan, and that's going to lift off all of the delicious, beautiful stuff that got cooked on earlier. I'm just going to switch to a spatula and get round all the edges. Smells amazing, absolutely delicious. Okay, we'll get all of that in, completely cleans the pan out. Beautiful. Okay, so we're back on a medium heat here, and I'm going to go in with the chopped tomatoes just straight in, both tins. And then I'm just going to use the stock just to rinse out the tin, make sure we get all of that goodness in there. There we go. We'll just get the rest of the stock in. Okay, then we're going to go in with a good tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And about a tablespoon of Liam Perrins. And finally, probably about a teaspoon of salt. It depends how salty you like things. We like it quite well seasoned. And we just give that a stir to mix it all together. Now it looks really runny and liquidy at the moment, but seriously, don't worry about that. This is all going to cook down together and just be absolutely incredible. It smells beautiful. It's going to taste even better. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to move this to the back and I'm going to leave it on a low heat to blip away with the lid on, half on, kind of like that, for about 45 minutes. Then we'll take a look, we'll see how it's doing, and it probably will then need another 30 minutes or so just to reduce down and be absolutely thick, unctuous, delicious, just the best beef ragu you'll ever have eaten. So I'll get back to you shortly. Okay, that's it, we're done. Absolutely delicious, as you can see. Beautiful, unctuous, rich, delicious bolognese sauce. Incredibly easy to make. It's had probably about 45 minutes to an hour just blipping away on the stove over there with the lid half on, and now it's absolutely ready to use. Delicious with some spaghetti or some fusilli, just with a little bit of parmesan on top, or indeed as a key component in lasagna. And the good news is that's what we're going to use this for. And in fact, we're going to make a whole new video starting right now on lasagna. And if you click the link up here, you'll be able to jump straight to that video. It's been fantastic cooking along with you today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Goodbye.